Okay, here we go. It looks like we've got sound this time, so welcome to
We are
Action
back.
Activate, now with twice as much sound. That's 0 times 2 equals normal. I am the Gazbot Knight, and with me as always...
The Big Dog Defender.
That's right, Gazbot Knight, the Bigdawg Defender. We are here. I'm checking chat. It looks like, yeah, Bigdawg saying can't hear me. Yes, hi, Dolly Girl, and happy Memorial Day to everybody, to those that served, and to those that waited, and to those that are just regular people like us.
hmm
So hopefully everyone's having a good day, having a good weekend. There is no new Beast Morphers. Beast Morphers? Yes, Beast Morphers. It sounded weird coming out of my mouth, but there's no new Beast Morphers episode this week. As we've said before, we're going to be on a long hiatus. So what we're going to be doing today is kind of like what we've been doing, a little chat, question and answer. We do have an activity planned, but we'll get to that after news. And let's check chat. We got Dolly Girl, Matt Kendall Claire. Yes, hello, and happy Memorial Day as well. Kyle Goldfinch, Gazbot and Bigdawg. I finally catch you. Oh, well, thank you. Glad you could finally make it. We usually
Thank you
do
for
it.
joining us.
Yeah, we usually do it this time on Monday. Sometimes it gets switched around because of schedules, but this is our usual time. So glad you can make it live. And before we get into our main activity, I will go over news. Actually, this week I don't have as much news as we normally do. Bigdawg, do you want to start us off with any news you might have?
Yeah, so some news that I actually forgot to touch upon either last week or the week before is in regards to the highly rumored, most likely 99% going to happen team up episode of Beast Morphers later this season, where um, it was rumored that Austin St. John is going to be joining, and there may be kind of a dino themed crossover involved with the previous Dino Rangers, that being Dino Thunder, Dino Charge, and Mighty Morphin. And it was recently announced that it is confirmed that none of the Dino Thunder Rangers were going to join that. So whether or
Right.
not they're going to use previous audio, which they actually did that season when they couldn't get certain people on, is to be seen, but definitely nothing unmorphed
Mm,
from this understanding. And I think with the footage they have, they'll be able to make something work, but
right.
it'll definitely impact the story at least a little bit.
I heard that too. I think we might have touched upon that last week, maybe before. Like, you came in a little late because
Oh,
of
maybe, yeah.
issues. Yeah, but I think that has been floating around. So as much as we don't really want to get into spoiler territory, some of this stuff is just out in the ether, and
hmm
yeah. So that is a bummer because if they're gonna bring the actors back, it reminds me of Samurai when it crossed over with RPM,
hmm
and they had was it Scott's
Scott
RPM
was
Red.
the Red
Yeah.
Ranger. Yep.
So they had him there unmorphed, and they still had the actor do the voice, but we never saw his face. It was sort of better than nothing, I guess. So maybe we'll be looking at something similar with this crossover.
Yeah. In regards to the comic, I know we had brought it up in a previous show and you had the image up, but there is
Yeah.
going to be an original graphic novel of a Psycho Ranger story coming up in the comics.
Yep.
Do you remember
October
roughly
this year.
October?
Yeah.
So Power Rangers: The Psychopath. That's going to be awesome. Just because if those of you who have read the comic and seen what was touched upon with the Psycho Rangers, I'm really liking what they're doing with that overall. So it
Yeah.
should be pretty cool.
I'm excited too because they have the Green Ranger, which is a comics only character. So it'll be
hmm
interesting to see how they incorporate that into the bigger legacy of everything. Dolly Girl is watching from Chicago, so hello to Chicago. I've been out to Chicago a few
Hello.
times. In addition to my Ranger art, I do a lot of Godzilla art, and they have the biggest Godzilla convention out in Chicago. So I've been there a few times for that. And Matt Kendall Claire, Hasbro apparently did post some new pics for figures. Only ones I saw were for Beast Morpher Red official. Was there something
I saw
else?
some new ones that I was going to touch upon. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that next.
Yep.
Kyle Goldfinch, that was a terrible episode, and they tried to explain. Yeah, I mean, again, I'll take any crossover over no crossover, but agreed,
Agreed.
it was weak. Hello, Diane Glitter, thank you for watching, and hello, the real Babu.
Good to see you guys again.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
Um,
that comic will be out from Boom Studios in October of this year, and I think they're releasing it as a one shot, right? It's not a
I
series.
believe so.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be similar to Soul of the Dragon, where
Yeah.
it was just a complete story altogether. Which, for those of you who haven't read, I actually was talking to a friend of mine who we both read comics, and they're always looking for recommendations. And they had seen a video reviewing it and asked, "Hey, how is that story?" And I recommend it to those that either like Tommy, like Power Rangers, like comics, or just want to try something new. Any of those bubbles, definitely try it out. In regards to the comics too, I know a lot of different Ranger groups and pages are posting some images in regards to the current Power Ranger storyline
This
without.
is mild spoiler area for anybody that
Yeah,
cares.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm not going to go too much into it, but if you see some designs that are very conceptual and seem a little out of the ordinary. They are in regards to the comic. The storyline right now is touching upon them, and they are within that story currently as of the last issue. So if you saw a glimpse or had heard any rumors and are intrigued, it's something you can check out in the comic. I think the last part of the current arc is due out in the next month or this week, something along those lines.
Cool. I was just trying to check to see if I could quick find some pictures for Wave 2 of the Lightning line. Like I said, the only ones I've seen are of Beast Morphers Red, but Bigdawg, you've seen some others?
So this is actually in regards to the Beast Morphers line. So the
Oh,
basic
yes.
figures, yeah, there's Roxy and Jax, who we already knew about.
Right.
There's the Silver Ranger, and I believe there's one monster that
Okay.
is in this line, which is good because outside of obviously our recurring villains, it's good to see kind of
Tronics.
the one-offs and
Yeah,
get them back in
agreed. Yeah, I don't know when they're going to be available here because they're obviously out in the world. We've seen pictures of
there.
them, but maybe not in America yet, or maybe not on our West Coast. But I don't think anybody, all the pictures I've seen, they weren't very clear where they were taken.
Yeah.
Let me check chat real quick. Matt and Claire is saying hello. Everybody's just saying hi to everybody. Everybody's friendly. Yeah, so they're like, we talked about that a little bit. We do need more monsters. That says the real Babu. I wonder why he would think that, but. Okay, so that's it for my news. Was I was going to talk about the comic as well. Did you have something else about the game you wanted to mention before we move on?
In regards to the game, I think we had already said the most recent character on the mobile game for Legacy Wars is Beast
Dragon
Morphers
Trainer.
Red.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then in the game or the console game, the story trailer I actually just watched today in regards to the story mode for that. For those of you who don't know, it's called Battle for the Grid, and similar to a very popular comic crossover they did last year, they're going with more of a Shattered Grid story,
Right.
kind of tying all teams together, which seems pretty cool. And I'm mostly over the tipping point where I think I'm going to get it very soon to try it out.
Mostly over the tipping point.
The only thing holding me back is laziness.
All
Either
right.
going to GameStop and buying it or
Can't you
downloading
download?
it
I was saying you
digitally.
can download it. Yeah. So, I don't know if anybody that follows us is playing that game. I thought somebody was, but maybe Matt was. But if anybody has any facts that might push the Bigdawg one way or the other, feel free to share them.
I'm already a yes. It's just how quick of a purchase I'm making is
Gotcha.
to be determined. We do have San Diego coming up, and we
Right.
still don't know the Power Ranger reveal. So if it's a Megazord that's $300, I'll
Oof.
probably wait. If it's a figure that's 30 or 40, then maybe I can have both.
Right. Meanwhile, one last thing with the Lightning line with Lord Zed. I believe if he's not out this weekend, he should be out by next weekend at GameStop for those that pre-ordered. Everyone else, I don't know. I keep seeing the other members of the Lightning line. I've been seeing a lot more Doggy Kruger, which was harder to get early on. Have not seen a Lord Zed in real life, but they're supposed to be re-releasing him either like this weekend just passed or the one coming up. So keep an eye out if you care. Matt Kendall
Yeah.
Clare is agreeing that we need Rangers without. We need more monsters because you can't have Rangers without the baddies. Quite agree. And we just what just popped up?
Mac Leclerc said he's playing Battle for the Grid.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
you are correct. And Kyle Goldfinch, I've been playing Uncharted on PS4. I feel like there was a Power Rangers. If there was a Power Rangers game, I should be created like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of a platformy adventure. That would be cool.
I feel like a lot of time licensed games, and especially Power Rangers, even the best games are kind of okay. Like I feel like they maybe because they spend so much money on the license that they can't afford to put more into the game, or they underestimate the fan base. But I agree, if they would actually put the time and effort and money into it, you could get people that outside of the fandom that just like the game, and then maybe they start liking other things and whatever. But that's that's a business decisions that we have nothing to do with. So okay, I think that's it for news. Yeah.
Final piece. I know we've mentioned it before, but the prices on legacy items I think are about as low as they can get.
Okay.
For especially Zeo. I just looked before the stream, and on Amazon right now you can get the Zeonizers for $50 and the gold Zeo staff for $70.
That's really good for everybody who hasn't already bought them. Some of us may have bought them for full price and are but good for everybody else. All right, well, moving on from that, what is the main thing we were going to talk about today? We don't have a new episode. We don't have a guest. We have something kind of similar to what we did before, a little bit of a game discussion.
Hmm.
I don't know how we got on this, but we were talking about character alignment charts. And if you're not familiar with what that is, I will show you in 1 second. I'll turn that off and turn this on. Oops, not this one. Well, as I'm turning it on, I will also describe what it is. It originated, I think, originally from Dungeons and Dragons, although it's been used elsewhere as well.
Hmm.
And it basically is when you choose your character, you pick, it's a barbarian, it's an elf, whatever, and the alignment is like good and evil, essentially. But there's gradations on those. And I accidentally messed up my image. So keep explaining what that is as I fix the window, please.
So it's a grid that's 3 by 3, and the way it's broken down is good, neutral, and evil. And then the other kind of segment of it is in regards to
There it
where they
is.
fall with rules or the law. So you have lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good. Obviously, all of these are in doing things good, but how you go about it is kind of up for
Right.
interpretation on where you would
And
fall
if
for the
you
grid.
look, Kyle, who says they're a little confused, if you look what I've just put up, it's 9. And some go bigger, but 9 is really the main way you see it. And so it goes across the top: lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good. So all the top are some form of good. All the middle are some form of neutral. All the bottom are some form of evil. And again, this originated with role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, and you see it in video games sometimes too. If you go one way or the other, it affects choices and stuff. But you see these templates online a lot that will take like the Star Wars characters and put it in, or Star
Hmm.
Trek or Lord of the Rings. And we were talking, somehow we got on it and we're like, oh, I wonder what they've done for Power Rangers. And neither of us could find one for Power Rangers. So we said, well, let's make one for Power Rangers. And we didn't do
Exactly.
it ahead of time. We're going to basically discuss it, and you guys could throw out suggestions as we go.
Hmm.
So I have printed out here, and the big dog should have a digital copy himself, the Dungeons and Dragons, because there's a bunch of different variations. They're all basically the same, but just to make life easy, I went to the Wikipedia for Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, thanks for the lurk, Dally girl. And I figure we could start. Well, I'll tell you what. Normally we would start with lawful good, but as we were thinking about this, I didn't think about it too much, just in the half hour or so before the show, and I was
Hmm.
having a really hard time coming up with a lot of them because a lot of rangers, many rangers fall into like lawful good or neutral good, and then most of the
Hmm.
evil is going to be the villains and stuff. But the one that stuck out to me, clear, shining, like this is obviously the right one, at least to me, and obviously you guys could argue it. And I actually already put it in. So my pick is for the neutral. Do you want to take a guess what I thought for neutral?
Um.
And let me read what neutral is, just so we're all on the same
Okay.
page. A neutral character, also called true neutral, is neutral on both axes and tends not to feel strongly towards any alignment or actively seeks their balance. Druids frequently follow this dedication to balance under the rules. We're required to be this alignment. An example, okay, that gets into this like Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but basically, they don't care about law. They don't care about good and evil. They're not trying to be good or evil. They're not trying to break the like. They're very at
Hmm.
any given situation, they could go. Examples in pop culture, they always go to Sherlock Holmes, who,
Hmm.
even though he is a law enforcement person, sometimes he doesn't really care. He's just about like
Yeah.
the puzzle and things like that.
I'm gonna go with Zordon.
I would not agree with that.
Well,
uh,
I was thinking about it, and based on the actions that Zordon took in the show,
mhm.
it didn't necessarily go one way or another because he was neutral where he did things because he had to do them, not necessarily because they were always right or always wrong.
I
Obviously, he's on the side of
he's
good.
Yeah, but you can't be on the side of good and be neutral. I mean, he's definitely. We could argue where on the spectrum of good he is, but I feel like
Yeah.
he is the force for good in their universe. He has to be good.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Let's come back to Zordon. We'll figure out where he goes later, if he's even going to be out
yeah,
here, because not we only have 9 spots.
exactly.
You want me to just tell you my neutral before we keep going down wrong paths?
Yeah, because I'm gonna just keep
Okay.
guessing and confuse
My
people further.
neutral is Finster. Now, why did I pick Finster?
Because he's about his art, and if it's something that helps people, great, and if it's something that destroys things, great. But
Yes.
he that is where his core is.
That's how I feel about it. And he serves Rita, and he's like, yes, my Empress, and all that. He serves Zed. But I get the feeling he does not care if they win or lose. He doesn't care about his fellow monsters. He doesn't care about the
Hmm.
humans. Good, bad, indifferent, live, whatever. He wants to make his art. Now, it just so
Hmm.
happens his art destroys things, but all he cares about is making his art. And so that's why I feel like he's neutral. Because I feel like if Zordon had found him and said, hey, make me some monsters to help defend the Earth, he'd be like, sure, fine. Like, I don't think he would care.
That seems fair.
All right, so we'll leave him in there for now. He could
Yeah,
always
he's
be
a good
displaced.
baseline.
As we decide certain ones, I'm going to grab images from the internet. That's the only one I had ready. I'll throw them
Mhm.
in there, and again, you could convince me otherwise. The chat could convince me otherwise, but we'll just throw them up as we go. And by the end of the show, we'll hopefully have a good, board that we could even share on the internet later, since one doesn't exist.
Mhm.
All right. So, do you want to take a stab at one of them then, since I kind of already took neutral?
So the problem that you and I will run into is
Yes.
a lot of things that myself and probably some of the chat will agree with
Right.
are around SPD, which is one of the few seasons
Mm.
you haven't seen.
Okay, well, I mean, I understand if there's some spoilers that I don't want them, but what are you gonna do?
No, not like huge spoilers, but just I'm sure you wouldn't disagree. Like for instance,
Right.
Lawful Good. Uh,
I mean, I haven't watched SPD, but I understand they're a police type organization, and
yeah,
Doggy Kruger is the head of it. So if you
yeah.
said Doggy Kruger should be lawful good, I'd be like, that makes sense from the little bit I know, like.
It's helpful when you let me say the words instead of just reading them out of my mind.
Uh, Sorry.
That's how. No, you're fine. That's how I was going to go for Lawful Good, just because, as you said,
Right.
the amount that you know from both the comics and just
Yeah.
your own kind of things that you've
Living
seen.
in the Power
He
Ranger
is
fandom.
exactly. He is the head of the only, as we know, other than Time Force, which we can go into separately,
Sure.
the only police organization as of right now. Time Force is more about structuring time. SPD is more about protecting everything.
Okay.
So that's who I would use as the pillar of lawful good, just because he has made questionable decisions in his past that you'll see when you watch the season. But
Sure.
he is, in my opinion, the pillar of it. And for those of you that have read the Shattered Grid storyline, he is kind of at the forefront of that as one of the characters involved in that story.
Okay, I am grabbing an image of him as you were talking, which is why I gave you the one shot. I'm gonna go back to
Mm-hmm.
this. So for now, we will call Doggy Kruger our lawful good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you go ahead and pick. Oh, actually, check chat for me. I think we missed a few things while I
All
grab
right, taking a
this.
look. The Real Babu, I agree. I've been rewatching MMPR, and so far he is most likely to go against Rita. Okay.
Mm,
And Matt Kendall Clare agreed regarding Finster. So,
okay.
theme on the board for Finster. Whether or not people grossly disagree with us on Doggy Kruger, hopefully not.
Yeah, I'd
But
have a
kind
hard time defending it. You'd have to do all the defending if people did disagree,
of,
but.
well, it's in my name, so it's also in my nature. Um, taking a look at just kind of other extremes of the spectrum, I wanted to take a look at. Oh, nice pulling the Sentai image, by the way.
Thanks.
Um, Looking at Lawful Evil, the first person that came to my mind
Hmm.
was are we, before I say my
Yeah,
answer, are
yeah.
we including the comics?
I hadn't thought about it. I thought we would. I guess I thought we would stick to live action since we don't really discuss the comics in depth
Okay.
here. I would say if you could come up with somebody that's not from the comics, that would be better. But if it's a
Okay.
character in the show that also is in the comics, and that's why
Yeah.
well, who's your choice?
Originally for Lawful Evil, I was gonna say Ranger Slayer, but now with
Yeah.
that in mind, it's kind of
If we could,
hard to
yeah.
think of who I would go
Also,
with.
because I legit would like to take this and throw it up on the internet when we're done for the
Yeah.
for the general public, and the general public
Mhm.
might not know who the Ranger Slayer is.
Fair.
Let me see. We got Fat Free Milfs says Astronema for chaotic good. That's not like after she's like made her face turn. That's not a bad pick. I don't know if that's the ultimate winner, but that's not a bad pick.
I thought of one based on kind of Astrama
Well, tell you what.
springboarding that.
Let's read. We're talking about chaotic good. So let's read what
Okay.
chaotic good is so we're all on the same page. A
All right.
chaotic good character does what is necessary to bring about change for the better, disdains bureaucratic organizations that get in the way of social improvement, and places a high value on personal freedom, not only for oneself, but for others as well. They usually intend to do the right thing, but their methods are generally disorganized and out of sync with the rest of society. Someone like Robin Hood might come to mind, or Doctor Who.
Mm,
Characters who they are good and they want to do good, but do not care about how they do it or what the police or society thinks of them. So
I could see her going into that just because part of the reason that she became the Pink Ranger was because she kind of did her own thing and broke against established organizations like the not the Axis of Evil. What was the Bad
I
guys group called?
if you don't remember the name, I'm not gonna. I know who you mean, but
Yeah, the Super League of Evil Doers and Power
yeah,
Rangers.
yeah, the bad evil evils.
Yeah, I think that's a
Okay.
solid pick for Chaotic Good, though.
All right, I'll grab a picture of her. Um, I want to find one where she's clearly good. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find that. Well, I guess I can get one where she's in her Ranger. That's what I should do, because she was
Yeah,
Lost Galaxy Pink, right?
correct.
Okay. I'll grab that. Can you just check chat for me? I think we
Yeah,
missed something.
United Alliance of Evil. Thank you, Matt
Oh,
Kendall. And
awesome.
Kyle Goldfinch said they have one that's good for Lawful Evil,
Oh, okay.
which I'm curious. And then for Chaotic Good, they threw out Norg from Operation Overdrive.
Was he the Yeti?
Yes.
Okay, and wait, hold on. So which what was the first one we were talking about?
So Chaotic Good would be Astronema.
Oh no, yeah, but
Prove me
after
wrong.
that.
And then they had hinted, Kyle Goldfinch had hinted that they have a good one for Lawful Evil, but haven't posted yet.
Okay. But somebody else said what was the Norg?
Norg would have been a choice for Chaotic Good. So we both
Hmm.
haven't finished Operation Overdrive, but from what we've seen, I don't know. I don't feel like they have, just from what I've seen, and
Right.
maybe this changes throughout the season, I don't feel like they have enough influence to be able to be that much of a force.
I also have not seen the full season. Tight.
Thank you.
But it might be a case where they're more neutral, like
Yeah.
like lawful neutral, or
Mm.
because again, I don't know, maybe they turn into a hero by the end of the show, so that's kind of tough for us to
Yeah.
I mean, at the risk of spoilers, I'll allow, does Norg, I understand they might,
Have a
they've
big turning point.
yeah, I've seen them be kind of borderline
Yeah.
friendly with the Rangers out of
Yeah.
innocence, naivety, arguably stupidity, but do they
Yeah.
actually become good, or are they just sort of like derp de derp, I'm friendly to everybody, which doesn't necessarily mean they're good.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for that from Kyle, um, who was teasing? I missed the part where somebody was teasing an idea they had for.
Kyle Goldfinch was teasing Lawful Evil.
Okay, well, what was your lawful evil, Kyle? Then, or tell us more why you think Norg.
Yeah. Either and both are welcome.
Right.
While we're waiting on that,
Yes.
though, want to take a stab at Neutral Evil.
Neutral evil. Let me read the definition for neutral evil, because I feel like evil gets a little bit muddy if we're not
Dicey,
clear.
yeah.
So neutral evil, a neutral evil character is typically selfish and has no qualms about turning on the allies of the moment. Usually makes allies primarily to further their own goals. A neutral evil character has no compunction about harming others to get what they want, but will neither go out of their way to cause carnage or mayhem that when they see no direct benefit for themselves. So basically, they have no moral compass. They're not going to go out of their way to hurt you unless it gets them money or furthers their cause. They're not just killing for the sake of killing. They're
Yeah.
very much out for self-interest.
I have a guess for one.
I have well, go ahead. You say yours first.
Heckle.
Oh, but Heckle, when he's infected with Snide from Dino Charge, you're talking about.
Correct. When they have the back and forth.
That's not bad. I was gonna say Rita, but I feel like they're very similar character types.
I feel like Rita depends on the era, though, because as she progresses, she gets more good, or even like just
Yeah.
less evil,
Right.
especially after the Z Wave.
Well, I'm not. You can't count after this. That's like saying Heckle once he's freed from Snide. Once they become
True.
yeah.
True.
Heckle neutral evil. That's not bad. You know what? We'll use Heckle, because even if I think Rita would also work, Heckle will represent a different series since we already have Mighty Morphin represented. So I'll grab a Heckle, and you double check we're not missing anything in chat while I do that.
And then Diane Glitter raised their hand and put a female symbol.
Okay.
And then Kyle Goldfinch.
Oh, girl power for chaotic good pick. That's
yeah.
why.
I feel like it might be Will from Operation Overdrive, or that might be because of the bad writing.
Operation Overdrive is hard because it's like, I think that's the only season that neither of us have watched all the way through, right?
I've seen enough of it and watched enough recaps to feel like I don't like most of the characters on there.
That wasn't the question, though.
I know. I really don't like Will on it, though. Is the other thing that, like, I'm incredibly biased.
Will is
I'm the
blue?
wrong person to talk to about Overdrive.
Is Will blue?
Will, if I remember correctly, I believe was the Black Ranger.
Okay. Um, yeah, it's tough. I don't want to invalidate your choices, but between the two of us, we've seen almost all season, every episode of all seasons, and I think Overdrive is the only one that both of us have not seen
We
all the way through.
both haven't finished yet. I've
Right.
watched Mystic Force, and you have not.
Correct.
I've watched SPD, you have not.
Correct. I've seen all the Neo Saban stuff, and some you have not.
Correct. Yeah, I skimmed through Samurai, Megaforce, Super Megaforce, and then we've both seen everything onward. We both didn't
Right.
finish Ninja Steel, but we watched most of Ninja Steel.
Yeah, I saw all of Ninja Steel and some of Super Ninja Steel. I just haven't finished it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're leaving Heckle for Neutral Evil. So the category we were trying to figure out though was Neutral Good at this point.
I think so.
Okay, yeah, because Norg was discussed for Chaotic Good, but we decided
Correct.
to go with Astronema, or I guess Corone, to be fair.
Actually, pivoting off of Neutral Good, I thought of one for Lawful Neutral.
Okay.
Time Force Pink.
Lawful Neutral, that's not a bad idea. Let me read Lawful Neutral for those that don't know. Lawful Neutral, Lawful Neutral character typically believes strongly in lawful concepts such as honor, order, rules, and tradition, which does sound like Pink. You're right. Let me give myself a one shot for this. Yeah. But often follows a personal code in addition to or even in preference to one set down by a benevolent authority. Examples of lawful neutral characters include a soldier who always follows orders, a judge or enforcer who adheres mercilessly to the letter of the law, and a disciplined monk. So there are certainly instances within Time Force where Jen Scott's the Pink Time Force Ranger may have diverted a little bit from her core beliefs, but I think those were exceptions to the rule. Yeah. I think you're right that she very much follows the rules, and she was willing to sacrifice her own happiness and teammates and things like that for the greater good of the law of Time Force.
Yeah,
and it looked good.
I was gonna say the only thing I can think of that she really went against authority was Alex, but that's because he was kind of wishy-washy to begin with.
Yeah, it did seem like she was following the Time Force edicts, not like it wasn't that she wasn't following his authority; she was following the greater authority.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Kendall Clare agrees with Jen, and Kyle Gofinch went to the same school as Red Mystic Force Ranger. Oh, that's cool, Kyle.
Awesome.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and grab a picture of Time Force Pink while we move on to the next one. Let me see real quick. Time Force Pink. Do you want to try to tackle Neutral Good?
Yeah, so for Neutral Good, let me just read the definition to make sure we're all on the same page.
Good call.
So for Neutral Good, they typically act altruistically without regard for or against lawful precepts such as rules or tradition. A Neutral Good character has no problems with cooperation with lawful officials, but does not feel beholden to them. In the event that doing the right thing requires the bending or breaking of rules, they do not suffer the same inner conflict that a lawful good character would. So, this is tough. Part of me wanted to say Tommy, but I don't know if that's accurate.
Well, we're talking about Neutral Good, right?
Correct.
Some of the examples I saw, like for other pop culture, one was Luke Skywalker, one was Frodo Baggins, and one I can't remember who the other one was. But the way they described this wasn't the official D&D, what you just read, but the way they were interpreting it is that often neutral good characters are good characters, but they're not sure if they're going to become lawful good or chaotic good. So they're sort of still on their journey. They're usually younger, not always. And so Tommy might work. I'm not sure he's the best representation, but the idea that he's like, well, I want to be good, but do I want to follow Zordon and the rules Zordon's set forth and everything, or do I just want to do good and I don't care what happens? And someone who's in the middle there, that's usually Neutral Good, where they could kind of go either way. Yeah. Again, Tommy might fit that, but I don't know that he's the best because I feel like he might go a little more chaotic good. He might be a little bit more of a rule breaker.
Yeah, he's the only one I thought of because also looking at. You haven't finished Dino Thunder.
I mean, if you need to say something for the...
Well, he obviously is more of a mentor role in that because he is the veteran ranger. So with that, he's more keeping people in line as opposed to potentially having to break rules since he's kind of setting them.
Right. So he was Neutral Good and then he becomes lawful good.
Yeah, and it's the teeter-totter because if you look at him as a whole, maybe Neutral Good would work depending on times where he leaned one way instead of another or
Right.
what. But in regards to that, just trying to think of other seasons,
Kyle,
I keep.
Kyle Goldfinch is saying that's Will. That's so Will. Will, Will, Will. So you're saying neutral good is Will, Kyle,
I
I
believe
guess?
that's what they're saying. Yeah.
Well, so here's what I'll say. Can we come up with a better example than Tommy to defeat the Will vote?
I
Because
what I will say, just because Kyle Goldfinch clearly knows a lot more about Overdrive than we do, and I will fully concede to that.
actually, I'm curious, Kyle, is Overdrive like your favorite season? Because you're going real hard on Overdrive, and no judgment if it is, but it just
Yeah,
there's
just
like there's
curious.
so many seasons, and you're like Overdrive.
I just based on our rationale, I'm gonna put Will is gonna be the winner unless we can dethrone him.
Okay, I'll grab a picture of Will for now,
hmm
and then we'll go from there.
Um, I'm trying to think, just going season to season, who? Ooh, okay. What about Justin?
From Turbo
Yes,
for neutral good.
correct.
That's not bad, actually.
Because
Oh man,
he
that's pretty good.
snuck in and found out the Rangers were the Rangers when
Right.
Rocky was in the hospital, went on his own, got the powers from Zordon, met up with the Rangers, did things kind of on his own, sometimes to his own detriment, and then when they moved on, still managed to join them and use his turbo powers to save not Blue Thunder,
The truck you're talking
Mountain
about?
Blaster or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
his Doom buggy was, but
You,
having not seen Overdrive, based on kind of what you were saying about the young characters
right.
and kind of not knowing where they fall, maybe Justin
Y-
is the
That's
one for this.
that's not bad, but you know what? As we're talking about it, I thought of a different one for similar reasons, but a more favorite character of mine, Samurai Gold. Samurai Gold
Oh,
decided, hey, I found this technology. I'm gonna go ahead and rip it apart and build my own morpher out of it, and I'm gonna train myself and decide that I'm a Power Ranger because I don't need permission. And then I'm gonna show up and just join, and you're gonna tell me I can't join, but I'm gonna keep fighting anyway because good. But he wants to join. He wants to be part of the group, but if he's not, he's still gonna be a Power Ranger. And
okay. I'm all let you know what. Since we both have both those, everybody in the comments, who do you think should take this spot? Should it be Will? Should it be Justin? Or should it be Antonio?
it's not gonna be Antonio because nobody likes Samurai.
Well, I actually was just catching up with the comments, and Kyle Goldfinch, thank you very much for this comment. He said, "Oh God, I hate Overdrive. It's actually my worst season." All
Oh.
right, well, that's a point for the big dog if I ever saw one. Matt Kendall clarified Storm Blaster was
Right.
the Doom Buggy, so thank you for that. And Justin and Antonio are both good options according to Matt Kendall Clare.
Mm.
So, with those, I'm gonna kind of leave it up to you guys. I'm fine either way. Kyle Goldfinch, there's probably a little bit of gold bias votes for Antonio. But anybody else, if you feel
Oh,
one way or
I have
another,
someone else I might throw up for neutral good. Robo
okay.
Knight. Robo Knight from Megaforce. Another unpopular season, but he's certainly good. But he wants to protect the planet, and he fought the Power Rangers when they thought they might be in his way. So he's not lawful, all the way. And he's all about like I need to protect the planet, and that's all I care about. And any way I have to do that, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with Antonio over Robo Knight in
Okay,
this instance.
I mean, I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah.
But I just figured I'd throw it out there. Let's see. That can declare. I think I just go with Justin. Kyle Goldfinch. I like Antonio. Me too. He's one of my favorites.
Mhm.
Isn't Justin Zord Mountain Blaster?
I believe so. Yeah.
Storm Blaster, Mountain Blaster. It's definitely something Blaster. We could all agree on that. Gaz, why does neutral being seasons with really bad writing? There's probably other examples too, but I don't know.
They
Those
just
are the
leave it super ambiguous,
right.
so that you fill in the blanks so they don't have to.
Let's see. Matt Clear. Yes, Kyle, that's Turbozord's name, but they were asking about the sentient vehicle. Oh, there you go. Okay, so Mountain Blaster and Storm Blaster, different things, but both accurate names, I guess.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the real Babu voted Justin. So it seems like
I think
Justin has
Justin's.
3 and Antonio has 2. So
Let's go with Justin.
the people have voted.
Okay, so neutral good will be Justin. Let me move him up here. Let me get that a little bit bigger. We're doing a pretty good job. This is coming together a lot
Yeah.
easier than I thought it would, to be honest.
And there's a lot of diversity of seasons, which I appreciate.
Yes, me too. Okay, so ignore the little pieces of the graphics falling over. So we got chaotic neutral, lawful evil, and chaotic evil. Um, chaotic evil. Let me read chaotic
Let's go
evil.
there first.
Yes, I agree. Let's read chaotic evil. All right. Let me do the Gazbot Knight one shot here. Chaotic evil. A chaotic evil character tends to have no respect for the rules, other people's lives, or anything that but their own desires, which are typically selfish and cruel. They set a high value on personal freedom, but do not have much regard for the lives or freedoms of other people. I'm making myself laugh here. Chaotic evil characters do not work well in groups because they resent being given orders and do not usually behave themselves unless there is no alternative. Examples of this alignment include higher forms of the undead, as again going to Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
I
So
have one that immediately jumps out and is one that I go to as like one of the most evil Power Ranger characters I can think of.
okay.
Dark Honda.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, the amount of lives he has leads into that undead, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And when he goes with Ecliptor, he hates being with Ecliptor. When
Yeah.
he fights the Rangers, he's really evil with the Rangers, and he even goes against Dark Spectre. So that's who my top vote is.
That's pretty
for
good.
right
And
now.
in a season full of evil characters, like the Psycho Rangers and Ecliptor, he's the bad guy. Like he's the jerk guy. Like Ecliptor, although actually I'm thinking Ecliptor could almost be lawful evil, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So Darkonda for chaotic evil, I like. Let me see. Kyle Goldfinch said Zed or Rita. I think both Zed and Rita are too good to be chaotic evil. They're
Correct.
evil, they're bad, but they have some loyalty to their friends. They have, they have their own sort of agenda. They're not just gonna destroy their own people. Like, they're evil, but they still have like some amount of loyalty, some
Yeah.
amount of conscience. I mean, Zed and Rita even have like affection for each other to some level, and I think chaotic
Yeah.
evil isn't incapable of that. So,
Yeah.
Matt Kenneth was thinking Darkonda too, not a bad one, Defender. All right, so I'll grab a
Just taking the
Darkonda.
wins today.
I'll grab a Darkonda pick while we move on.
Okay. Going kind of to the other side again, looking at neutral evil.
Can
The
you read
first
it?
person,
Can you read the
yeah,
description for us?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Let me pull it up. Where'd it go? Neutral evil. A neutral evil character is typically selfish and has no qualms about turning on allies of the moment and usually makes allies primarily to further their own goals. A neutral evil character has no compunctions about harming others to get what they want, but neither will they go out of their way to cause carnage or mayhem when they see no direct benefit for themselves. Another valid interpretation of neutral evil holds up evil as an ideal, doing evil for evil's sake and trying to spread its influence. I thought of one that's
Okay.
also a little
Wait,
recent. So
you just read Lawful Evil?
no, that was neutral evil.
Okay, because we already have a neutral evil sort of chosen.
Whoops. Sorry, looked at the wrong one.
Okay.
All right. Scratch that and reverse it.
Okay.
Lawful evil.
Lawful Evil.
This one's much shorter. A lawful evil character sees a well-ordered system as being easier to exploit and shows a combination of desirable and undesirable traits. Examples of this alignment include tyrants, devils, corrupt officials, and undiscriminating mercenary types who have a strict code of conduct. I originally was going to go with you on Ecliptor,
Mhm.
but I'm going to have to disagree because I think Ecliptor has enough of a love for Astronema that he
Right.
wouldn't necessarily fall into this.
I agree, and I actually have a second pick, and I'm curious if it's the same as yours.
Is it a villain or a ranger?
It's a villain. You think there's a ranger that's lawful evil? I'd be very curious to hear that.
The only one I can think of is Donna Thunder White.
I do know that he kind of starts bad, maybe,
Yeah.
but well, here's the thing: if a character is primarily good, then they're good. Like Tommy started evil, but you wouldn't call him evil. He's a good character. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Similarly, Astronema started evil, but she becomes good. So you would it's kind of where they end up, where their main character is. So if White is like an evil character, well, you've spoiled it for me, and he's evil. Let's go.
No, without going into anything,
Yeah.
everything you said about him is not 100% correct.
Okay.
And I will leave it at that, and
Okay.
we'll look at someone else.
All right. Well, let me check chat real quick. Real Babu says Zed before Rita came back. Maybe, but I still feel like Zed for Chaotic Evil. We were talking about, or are we talking about Lawful Evil? If it's Lawful Evil, maybe.
Lawful Evil, I would not go with Lord
I,
Draken, Kyle.
oh
Only
no.
I think he's actually more Chaotic Evil.
I think he starts neutral evil and by the end becomes chaotic evil. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What I was thinking for lawful evil is, and I hate to use the same season twice, but Goldar, because he like follows the rule of his empress or his emperor, and he's
Yeah.
not like trying to get ahead. He's not like a Starscream where he's trying to backstab him, and he's like, I'm evil and I follow evil and everything about me is evil, but I respect my boss. Like.
Yeah. So Goldar, I think, is the placeholder. I think we
Okay.
can find somebody who beats him.
Okay, I'll grab him as a placeholder, and why don't you read chaotic neutral for us while I'm doing that?
Okay. Let's see. Chaotic neutral. Let me make sure I'm reading the correct.
That's a good idea.
Chaotic neutral. Just to confirm, chaotic neutral.
Yeah, chaotic neutral.
Good. A chaotic neutral character is an individualist who follows their own heart and generally shirks rules and traditions. Although chaotic neutral characters promote the ideals of freedom, it is their own freedom that comes first. Good and evil come second to their need to be free.
Okay.
Ooh.
Sounds like you got one right away.
I mean, to an extent, the Psycho Rangers.
But they worked for either a Clipter or Astronomer. I mean, they worked for people. They didn't seem too concerned about their freedom.
But they didn't want to. They were created to work for them, and then as it went and as they started to get picked off and got their monster forms, they were more about, we just need to get out of here and do our own thing. We got to destroy the Rangers, but they kind of didn't want to work for the Alliance of Evil anymore, from my remembering of the season.
It's not terrible, but I don't love it. I feel like we could do better. Let me see if chat's the thing. Real Babu. I was thinking Goldar for Lawful Evil also, but was trying to think of a different season too. Yeah. Well, I figure what we're going to do is we're going to fill in Chaotic Neutral, and then we're going to revisit all of these and see if we could improve upon them. But Chaotic Neutral. So you're saying Psycho Ranger for Chaotic Neutral. I'm
not in love with the idea. You don't need to get an image yet.
Father Heart in general.
I'm just trying to think who in a season worked with the bad guys of the season, but ultimately just wanted to break away and do their own thing.
What about Decker from Samurai? Now I'm the one keeps coming back to the same season. Because he was evil, and he was, one of the big bads of the season, but he never really cared about the bigger plan. He just wanted to fight Jaden and Sword Uramasa, and like all he really cared about was fighting with his sword and getting the next challenger.
I think that'd be a better argument for Lawful Evil, because he just goes by his code.
But he doesn't. Well, his own personal code. Let me see. What is lawful? Now, wait. Lawful evil. Let me take a look here again. Lawful character. Oops. Lawful evil. Lawful evil. See, this is where like the minutia gets you down. Lawful evil character sees a well-ordered system as being easier to exploit and shows a combination of desirable and undesirable traits. Tyrants, devils, corrupt. No, I don't think so. This sounds like a corrupt politician or a king or someone like that. He had no interest in power. He wanted one-on-one fights. He's kind of like an evil Goku, sort of.
Yeah.
Let me see. Kyle Goldfinch, maybe Monty from Ninja Steel. that's a funny pick. Ken McClare, yeah, I think we could do better than the Psychos. It wasn't that they didn't want to work for the United Alliance of Evil. They just didn't like how Astronomer wanted to use them. Real Babu, Bulk for Chaotic Neutral. It's not the worst. The problem with Bulk, well, not the problem, but Bulk and Skull, strangely, are two of the most well-developed characters in Power Rangers since they lasted so many seasons. Yeah. So certainly Bulk could have been chaotic neutral at some point, but by the end he was chaotic good. I don't know. Bulk could work, but we'd have to make it. It would have to be like in his bullying phase. It'd have to be earlier on, I think.
Could you argue that chaotic neutral is Magna Defender?
Maybe. But he's still pretty good though.
But in the beginning, when Mike didn't have as much of an influence, he kind of just popped in and did his thing and didn't really like working with the Rangers.
You're not wrong, but that I still feel like it's hard for me to think of anyone that is a Ranger or a Six Ranger that is anything but on the good spectrum. Although we already got Lawful Neutral for Time Force Pink. Yeah, I don't think so because chaotic neutral isn't there's an element of um, selfishness. And he wasn't really selfish. He didn't play well with others, but that's not the same as being
Well,
out for
did was
himself.
it his end goal to be reunited with his son?
I mean, spoilers. His son was dead.
I
So how?
know, but
You
he needed revenge so that
right?
he then so the revenge plot makes me think he's more on that spectrum than the good spectrum.
Maybe.
I'm talking
I
about
like him better
Dawg
than
Defender, not Mike.
right. No, I understand. I like him better than Psycho Rangers. I'll say that.
Okay.
Real Babu says true. Bulk did go chaotic good towards the end. Yeah. And I would also we already have two from Mighty Morphin, so I would rather find someone from another season.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why Magna Defend. Oh, but we already have. Yeah, we're hitting a lot of the same seasons for some reason.
Yeah.
Let me look at chaotic neutral again. Individual who follows their own heart and generally shirks rules and traditions. Although chaotic neutral characters promote the ideas of freedom, it is their own freedom that comes first. Good and evil comes second to their need to be free. So it's very what I don't see the Magna Defender as needing to be free so much.
Well, he was tied to Mike.
Right, but was he unhappy about that? I thought that was sort of like he
At
willingly.
first, and then he let go. 'Cause his
Yeah.
son okay.
Kyle says, wait, if you're talking about someone who's selfish, then what about Andrew Hartford from Operation Overdrive? Because he builds his own son and he wants to be a ranger himself. We have not watched all of Operation Overdrive.
I knew that already.
But yeah, I can't, I don't know. I don't know.
I would agree with that, and I'm really liking Kyle Goldfinch's comments the more they come out. I'm sorry that you got more information than you knew, Gaz, but Operation Overdrive just keeps the hits coming.
Matt Kendall Clare keeps hating Overdrive Kyle, lol. Real Babu, keep in mind, Mighty Morphin had 145 episodes, so all their characters were more developed. That's true. Well, let me ask, okay, Real Babu, let's ask, out of curiosity, where would you put Babu on this chart if you were
That'd
putting him?
fun.
Yeah, because you probably have a better idea of that than anybody else. And let's say Kyle, it's just a spoiler. Sorry, guys. That's all right. It's I did have a few years to watch it. I don't like spoilers, but I understand doing a show like this. It's difficult to avoid them sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised this one's turning out to be the most difficult. Who is a selfish character that we haven't already discussed? I feel like we've come up with a few that are decent.
Jared.
Jared?
Jared is very selfish.
Oh, from Jungle Fury.
Yes.
That's really good. He does have a bit of a change towards the end, but again, like most of well, how about this? We won't say Jared, we'll say Daishi.
Jared / Daishi. Before Daishi leaves Jared, we're going with that.
Okay, I'm gonna grab that. Again, it might change possibly, but I'm gonna throw that up. While I pull that up, you check chat, see if we missed anything there. I'm gonna give you one shot.
Real Babu was waiting for that question. Kyle Goldfish, we're so passionate fans, be crazy. Hey, that's why I'm here. Yeah. Kyle Goldfish, don't have to apologize for your passion. That's what we're here for. As we have most of things kind of laid out, if there's any that you guys disagree with or maybe have another suggestion that maybe we didn't think of,
now is the time
please let us know. We're more than happy to keep that discussion for it. I definitely want to relook at the Lawful Evil again for Goldar. I'd like to change it. I'm not in love with that pick. Right. But another thing as well is I noticed, and we do this outside of this show too, is that you and I tend to go back to seasons that we really like.
Yeah.
And really have to focus on going in the weeds of seasons that aren't in our very, very top echelon.
It's true. It's true. And if we had thought about this and me and you spent hours hashing this out ourselves, we probably wouldn't have these answers. But I thought the fun of it would be doing it live with people watching.
And that was the biggest commitment I have for us doing it now as a discussion. Right. Is you and I, for better or worse, sometimes get that tunnel vision.
Absolutely, yeah.
And now that we're expanding it more, I think some seasons, I don't know if Lothar would count as lawful evil, but he was another one that was
No,
in the back
he
of my head.
breaks rules all the time. He's neutral or chaotic. He's crazy.
Okay.
I feel like once before he became the villain, he might have been lawful evil, but once he became the villain, he borderline lost his mind, you know. So
True. Real Babu said that they think that Babu and Squat both lean true neutral. I think so too. I think
yeah,
most of that crew outside of Goldar is there because they need to be there.
that makes
And
sense.
it's kind of Rita's way or the highway. And then as the seasons progress, when they have a little bit more leniency, is where we get the weird side plots with Rito and uh, Goldar kind of doing their own thing.
I think that's true. So now I feel bad that I didn't pick one of them instead of Finster.
I mean,
I guess because I'm an artist, so I picked the artist.
that's what you thought initially,
Yeah.
yeah. Babu and Squat are lawful in the sense of following orders, but most self-preservations. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. True. All right. So the one you most want to revisit, Bigdawg, is Lawful Evil.
Correct.
Okay. So if anybody in the chat can think of a better Lawful Evil than Goldar, definitely throw it out. Let's see.
Kyle said, wait, so question, does lawful evil mean they're okay with throwing the evil party line? Or
Towing.
does it mean, towing the evil party line? Or does it mean an evil character who sees a light?
The first part. I'll read it again because it's a short
Yeah.
one. A lawful evil character sees a well-ordered system as being easier to exploit and shows a combination of desirable and undesirable traits. Examples of this include tyrants, devils, corrupt officials, and indiscriminate mercenary types who have a strict code of conduct. So it's not someone who's seen the light. It's someone who is basically evil, but is fine with following the law and fine with working within the system to not get caught doing their evil. You know, or someone that, like, again, a corrupt politician or a tyrant that is up on top that isn't, you know, is using law and order as opposed to chaos or anarchy. They're not like shooting fireballs down and saying, fear me. They're like, you know, they're actually using the law, but they're inherently evil. And as I'm describing this, I'm thinking the Goldar doesn't really fit because he does sort of follow the rules, but he is more of a soldier than a tyrant or a leader. Like, I think he kind of fits, but as I described, I think we could find somebody better.
True.
Let's see. The real Babu, Master Vile. Master Vile. Wait, I'm blank. I know that name, but I'm blanking on who that is.
Master Vile's from the Alien Ranger season.
Oh, okay.
Rita's dad.
He was Rita's dad. Yeah. Maybe. I think that's better. I think that's better than Goldar. I'll say that.
I agree.
Okay, so we'll switch to Master Vile. We might be able to do even better, but yeah, Master Vile is definitely better than Goldar. So we upgraded there. Is there another? Let me put this challenge out. Is there another character similar to Master Vile where they're sort of the top of the heap, lawful evil, but that is a little bit more well known? Like if we were, because Master Vile, not that he's obscure, but I think the average person might not think of them right away, as clearly I didn't. You know what I mean?
Hang on, Kyle said Fury from Dino Charge. He says with a high pitched voice.
I feel like he. No, because again, he's following someone else. So I think he's like a Goldar type. I think he's a Goldar type where it kind of fits, but we could do better. So I think if we're not going to do Goldar, we shouldn't do Fury. I think Master
I'm not
Vile.
going to disagree with Fury, but the one reason I wouldn't advocate for him for the sake of this exercise is only because we have Heckle already in there. Heckle Snide.
That's a good point, but I still think Master Vile is a better choice. I feel like they're similar types, but Master Vile is further up the food chain, closer to being the actual tyrant than.
Divatox doesn't work. King
No.
Mondo doesn't really work.
King Mondo does work. Why does he not work? He's literally a tyrant. King Mondo and Master Vile are very similar,
I guess from
actually.
the Machine Empire, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the big bad of each season.
Right.
So
Okay.
King Mondo's a potential one.
Right.
Astronoma's a no. Why am I blanking on the name of the one from Lost Galaxy? But I'm also going to go with no.
Oh. Well, you know what? Not. Oh my gosh, the bug lady. I'm blanking. Trakina, not Trakina, but what about her father? The weird bug monster father. But I feel like that he works. Master Vile works. And Mondo all work, but I think Master Vile or Mondo are more well known, so I'm more likely to want to pick one of those. Matt Kendall Clare says, "What about Queen Banshira?" Queen Banshira, I feel like she's more. I feel like she is in that position on the top of
Yeah,
the organization, but I feel like she could easily turn on her own allies and
yeah,
like go into chaos. I don't think the lawful part fits. Like it happens to fit because she happens to be on top in this, but like the
yeah.
others are actually like sort of commanders in chief of their forces, and you
Hmm.
don't think they're just gonna throw it all away for no reason. Whereas I really feel like Banshira could just like I don't care and kill everybody. Like I think she's just like more of a demon, you know.
Yeah.
Scorpius is Trekina's dad. Thank you. I should remember that because Scorpius is another character from Farscape, so I could try to remember that way. Um, I don't know that we're gonna do better. I think we keep coming up with similar characters to
Yeah.
Master Vile. Let's move on from Lawful Evil. Are there any others up here that we're not sure are the best? I think Lawful Neutral Pink is great. I'm happy with
Hmm.
Finster Neutral. We could have picked other people, but I think he fits fine.
I
I,
mean, if you want to make that one multiple, see if you can find a shot with Babu, Squat, and Finster.
uh, okay, okay, I'll do that. Then you keep talking through what we think we need to
Yeah,
potentially
lawful
change.
good. I don't think at any point any of us, chat included, thought of anybody other than Doggy Kruger. He seems to fit the bill pretty well.
Hmm.
Neutral good. When we took it to a vote, went to Justin, and then chaotic good going with Corone because of kind of her journey with that and how she ended up being a ranger and how she acted as a ranger and getting her powers works.
Right.
Um, who did we? Oh, Daishi, I really like for neutral evil.
He's chaotic neutral, not neutral
Or
evil.
chaotic neutral. Sorry. Um, that one I really like. I'm blanking since you did the one shot on me. I can't see it,
Uh,
so that's
All
why.
right, I'll go back to the Ranger show. There you go. I do that
Thank you.
because I'm looking down because I'm trying to look at
No, I
pictures. So
know. That's
yeah.
why I'm like I'm just trying to think in my head where we
Okay,
live.
sorry about that.
Um, chaotic evil. I am all about Dark Honda. I'm really glad we got him.
Yeah, I think that works.
Neutral evil. I really like Heckle Snide unless people have something else to
I
say.
think
And then
Heckle Snide is one where he works fine, and we might be able to think of others that work equally well, but not
mhm.
better necessarily.
Yeah. And then Lawful Evil's the point of contention right now.
Yeah.
Don't look at chat because I saw a spoiler alert for you.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, but Kyle Goldfinch said, Matt Kendall Clare, look, Andrew Hartford said some stuff that's spoilery for you. And
For
yeah,
those watching this later, the chat does pop up on screen, so you could read the spoiler stuff. You don't need to hear us say it.
yeah. But it's more plot points about Andrew Hartford in Operation
Operation Overdrive.
Overdrive.
I couldn't find a picture of the three of them together easily, so I'm gonna move on from
Okay,
that. Maybe I
no
can find it
worries.
later. Um,
And
so
then Matt Kendall Clare agreed about Banshira. And then the real Babu said they have one. Who are you going with? Let's hear it.
for lawful evil, for, who are we talking? Which
I'm
category?
assuming for Lawful Evil, unless
Okay.
it's for a different one. But um, real Babu's really good about putting which one.
Yeah.
I can. Oh, the picture. Okay. They can send
Oh,
you a picture for
okay.
it. Awesome.
That'll work. I might be able to find it. If I searched longer, I didn't want to spend the rest of the show looking through the internet. My thought too is, here's my thoughts is because we're actually coming near the end of the show. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but assuming we have it more or
Mhm.
less locked down, we have the Facebook page, the Activate Facebook page. If you're not on there, check it
Mhm.
out. The link for some reason is not working. I have a macro for it, but it's just Action Activate on Facebook. You can find it. It's pretty easy.
Mhm.
I'll also put a link in the when I put this on Facebook, it'll be below, and I'll throw this up there so that people could maybe debate it a little bit there. And once, as a
Mhm.
group in there, we decide this is the final form. I'll make sure to get the best possible picture for each one. These are just the ones that I
Mhm.
grabbed real quick, and then we could release it into the wild and let it flow free. And maybe I'll put a little Action Activate tag on it so everyone knows where it came from.
Nice.
All right. So anything else in chat? Let's see. Oh, this is from my private behind the scenes pics. Oh wait, are you
Ooh.
sharing it? A link? Oh, you could
I
text me the
think
picture.
it's over text to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We could do that later. I don't want to have that accidentally go up publicly right now by mistake.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. But
In re-
so. I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, in regards to the grid, the other thing since you mentioned the YouTube of this also is the comments in there. Not everybody here, I'm sure, has opinions on it. So this may change if we have strong enough reasoning or opinions
Sure.
in the YouTube comments as well, because we love continuing the conversation there as well. And that's
Yeah.
something where I know for me, a lot of times, especially, I forget things until after the show. So
Right, same. Yeah. And it's again, it's a balance of getting it exactly right versus having fun and doing it live. So we decided to
exactly,
have fun and do it live versus being perfect.
yeah,
My thought is, because we do the show every week and we'll be back next week, same time, I'll let it go for a week. And at the end of that time, wherever we've landed, I will finalize it and we'll talk about it next week and either say, hey, we didn't change anything, or hey, here's the changes we made. And
hmm
then after that, we'll again like get the picks and release to the wild. So we'll give it about a week for people to discuss, debate, and whatever. But I think for less than an hour, just quick spitballing it, I think we did pretty good. I think we
I
did pretty
agree.
good.
And I
Yeah.
think we did a good enough job of touching upon at least one character per era.
I don't agree with that, but we did only have 9 spaces, and there's been what 25, 30 years at this point.
No, I'm talking about eras.
Oh, like the
The
Zordon era, the Disney era, the Neo Saban,
hmm
and then we don't have is the Hasbro era, but I mean that's only one season. So
we were close.
yeah, we could. Well, yeah, I think it's better that we didn't grab Beast Morphers because we talk about Beast Morphers so much. It's why not talk about some other stuff for a change.
Agreed.
Um, I have made we've talked about having guests on the show, and that is still very much something that's going to happen. I have made progress with the tech side of it. After this show, the Big Dog and I are going to run some tech tests.
hmm
You may see notifications that we're going live as I test it. You could disregard those, or you could watch us go, is it working? Is it working? Is it, do you hear me?
Can
It,
you? Yep.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
it
Uh-huh.
will not be a show. It will be a test if it comes up at all. So definitely disregard it. But the hope is that we'll get it figured out, and that maybe next week we'll have a guest. I'm not saying that officially. I think that by next week we'll have our tech figured out. Then I have to
hmm
talk to a few of the people that have said they're willing to be on the show and see if they're able to do it that week. But we're one step closer to having guests as of later today. So wrapping it up, I'm kind of not looking at chat. Big Dog, is there anything we're missing?
The real Babu sent the pic to you, and
Oh,
it's been over an hour, so everybody take a sip of water. Stay hydrated.
ah, okay. I think I did get the pick. Let me see. Well, I can look that offline. I don't need to. Oh wait, no, here it is. Oh, that's very cool. Can I low res share that? Can I just hold up my phone so people can see it for now? Is that okay?
He said, "Feel free to share the pic with the big dog."
Oh, just the Big Dog. Okay, so I will not
For
show
now,
it
we'll leave
for
it
now.
with that.
All right.
Kyle Goldfinch, I won't be with you guys for a while. I'm working at a film festival, and I'm just watching a ton of foreign films.
That's
Well,
very cool.
awesome
Enjoy.
job with that. But
Yeah.
if you have a chance, catch us on the YouTube replay, and
Yeah.
feel free to put your comments there. We love hearing your opinion on it. You had some good overdrive love or hate, depending on how you look at it
Right.
today.
Oh, go ahead and show the screen. Okay, what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna hold
Perfect.
up my phone on a one shot, so it might be a little bit blurry. But this is a. Let me see how good I can get it. Yeah, it's not gonna be that clear, but it's a great shot of the three together
Oh
with.
wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
with the real Babu, Steve Adrino. That's the real guy, hanging out in the suit. So that's pretty awesome. So thank you for sharing that with me and
Thank you
allowing
very
me to
much.
share it with
That's
everybody
great.
else. So go back to the show. Okay, so unless anybody has any last minute changes, we'll call this done for now.
Mhm.
Again, you could make comments in the group or on YouTube. We'll consider it there. If anybody had any questions, comments, or concerns, voice them now. And Big Dog, anything going on with you this week coming up that you want to talk about? Or
The only thing coming up for those local in the Bay Area
hmm
is that Gazbot and I are going to be
Oh, right.
working the San Jose Super Toy Show next Saturday and Sunday, June 1st and 2nd, at
Good
the
call.
Santa Clara Fairgrounds. So if you want to check out some Ranger art, maybe check out some Ranger toys, and everything outside of that, we're more than happy to just say
Yeah.
hi to you guys and see anybody who's interested in going there.
Yeah, I didn't even think to mention that, so I'm glad I asked. I will. He's right. I will also be doing that next weekend. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing next weekend. In between that, we'll be going to see Godzilla, but that is not something that you are invited to.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, not. But no, yeah, that'd be if there. I don't know if there's anybody local, but if you're local or if you know somebody local, send them our way. Why not? All right. So let me check chat real quick. Anything we need to see? No, I guess that's it.
Seems about it.
Okay, well, I want to thank everybody that's watched live. We had a lot of good participation. I had a lot of fun doing this. I knew it'd be fun with the Big Dog, but I like that you guys jumped in a little bit too. It added to
Yeah.
the fun. And for everybody watching on the replay on YouTube, thank you. Hopefully, it was still fun, even though it wasn't live for you. And like I said, you could still add in. You still have a chance to affect the outcome.
Mhm.
And then maybe next week, Yeah, you know what? Next week I think we're going to do another giveaway. So next week we may or may not have a guest, but we will definitely have a giveaway. So tune
Sounds
in,
good.
same Ranger time, same Ranger channel. But for now, I'm the Gazbot Knight,
And I'm the Bigdawg Defender.
and thank you very much, and may the power protect you.
May the power protect you. See you guys later.
See ya.